Sydney Sweeney. Well, let's talk Sydney Sweeney for a second because it kind of jumps into this whole left and right thing, right? So Sydney Sweeney is an actress, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sydney Sweeney is, I guess, conventionally attractive,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's no, I mean, like, you've got to be anti attractive to not think that she is at least a little bit attractive. Okay. Or you got to like dudes, one of the two, right? But even dudes who like dudes can appreciate beautiful women, I think. That's how it seems to me, right? Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so Sydney Sweeney, of course, we know she was in this jeans ad. This jeans ad is a complete, they'll call it an homage, but it could also be called a ripoff. It's a complete ripoff of a jeans ad done in the 1970s or maybe early 80s. I think it's 70s with Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields actually talks about how genetics pass on from parents to children as she's trying to squeeze on these Calvin Klein jeans, right? It's complete either an homage or a ripoff, right? They're not, I mean, it's an ad that made Calvin Klein huge, right? It was controversial at the time. Okay, can you remember why it was controversial at the time?
I don't even understand why that would be controversial.
She was 14.
Being in a jeans
She
ad.
was naked. She was putting on the jeans in the ad. So she was bottom naked and trying to pull the jeans over herself. And she was like, no, she was talking about good genetics. And basically she was really just laying it on. It was a super sexy ad. Super
Oh,
sexy ad. Like, I
to
mean,
sexualize a 14-year-old.
yeah, that,
That's
that's,
that's what these people do. Like the more that you try to fight against it and don't realize that most of these people are
yeah.
PDFs.
I mean, people, I mean, they roll what's going to work. And basically, I mean, in that time, it's Brooke
They
Shields
could
had
have
a
found somebody 21.
Brooke Shields had a crazy career. Brooke Shields, when she was in what's that movie that the Blue Lagoon, right? She was
Hmm.
underage, right? Topless scene and everything. I mean, like,
Ooh,
she had a wild ass career in her younger days. Okay, and it's the '70s, early '80s. It's surprisingly how far we've come in such a short time, right?
hmm.
From the '70s and earlier. I mean, look at some of our biggest stars, and we're still on the same topic. But look at some of our biggest stars. How old was Priscilla Presley when Elvis started seeing her in a romantic way?
She
They
was
She
underage.
was way underage. They claimed that they didn't do anything at all until she got to a certain age and they got married and everything. But Elvis was still, I mean, like, today that would be called grooming,
It was
right?
grooming.
With her parents' consent. He was seeing her chaperoned by her parents. But that's how things happened back then, especially in the South. These genteel Southern folks,
Hmm.
they
Oh
would,
yeah, they wouldn't care about that.
yeah,
Yeah, I
age
get
didn't
that.
matter. I mean, like, but and they were legitimately seeing these people to marry. I mean, like, it was a respectful kind of a courting situation. Like,
Right.
I'm interested in your daughter. I understand she's kind of young, but we're gonna go ahead and wait. I'll just come and visit every week, and you can sit in the room with us, make sure nothing happens. It was weird. I mean, like, that's just how Jerry Lee Lewis, one of Elvis's contemporaries, not only married like a 15-year-old, or is it 16? I don't know, 15 or 16. Not only did he marry an underage girl, it was his cousin, right?
If anybody's gonna marry my cousin, it's gonna be me.
Yeah, that's what he's saying, man.
That's how he
Man,
felt.
Jerry Lee Lewis,
Like,
great balls of fire. Goodness
man.
gracious, great ball. I mean, like, a whole lot of shaking going on there. So, I mean, it happens. And it happened quite free to prominent people. It didn't just happen to, like, nobody. I mean, well, it happened to nobodies, but it
I mean,
happened
it
to
still goes
prominent
on.
folks.
Jay Z had Beyonce. He groomed Beyonce. We watched Komora Lee Simmons and Russell Simmons. We watched that, and that really
How
happened.
old was she?
Man, I think Komora Lee. She was definitely underage. I want to say she was 16, but
Okay.
here
Okay.
I'll find out her real age. And then R. Kelly and Aaliyah.
Well, R. Kelly. I mean, that's,
Yeah, but I mean, even thinking about it, it's like Jay Z's still married to Beyonce.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like nobody would like to be talk like, oh, she was like
Oddly enough,
way
and
younger.
oddly enough, nobody ever talks about that at all. You know.
No.
While at the
You
same
know,
time, similar situation. Well, it's a similar but creepier situation. You have Woody Allen.
yeah.
Woody Allen married. It was not his stepdaughter. He was never. You know, it's funny how they bring out all these legalities,
Mm-hmm.
right? He never married Mia Farrow, right? Who is the stepmother of this woman, Soon-Yi Previn. So Soon-Yi was Mia Farrow's stepdaughter,
Mm-hmm.
their adopted daughter, I think it was. And Woody Harrelson, sorry, Woody Harrelson, not you. Woody Allen was Mia Farrow's longtime partner, never got married, so she was never technically his stepdaughter. Not only
Ooh,
that
excuse
is
me.
and he never adopted her, so she was never related to him in any way. But still, she's the daughter of your girlfriend, which is kind of, and she was underage obviously when they first began to become acquainted, and much later on, they became a thing. And when they became a thing, I think she was of legal age. At least that's when they announced it. So who knows how long that's been creeping. And they're still together, but people still look at them funny.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, none of it sounds right, right? But that's how. But those things all happened regularly and out in the open, right? Until like the '80s rolled around, and all of a sudden, and in the '80s, people still spoke about. I mean, let's look at some of our lyrics. Like R. Kelly, of course. So his
Age
wait,
ain't none but a
there we
number.
go. Not only a lyric, but a song
For the whole
name.
album.
Is it the whole album's name?
It was a whole album.
Is there a song named that?
Yeah, it was the lead
So it's an
song to it.
album, it's a song, and it's a lyric. I mean, like he just decided let's make it a theme. Age
Yep,
ain't
it was a
nothing
whole
but a
team.
number.
It was a whole album called Age Ain't None But a Number, and he was in the background. That's
Very,
crazy.
very famous looking. There we go. There's that. You've got good old Belle Biv DeVoe.
Uh-huh.
One of my favorite lines. And what's is that? Is that Do Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite lines ever in any song, no matter what genre, is that a whole how's it go? Backstage, underage, adolescent.
Analyst.
How you doing? So
Fine, she replied. Hi.
let's go. Continue. I
I
sighed.
sighed. She liked to do the wild thing.
No, I
Action
like to do the
took
wild thing.
place.
That's
No.
remember she fine. She replied. I sighed. I like to do the wild thing. So he comes on to her, right? And then the next line, you're like, whoa, this is getting kind of creepy. And then the next line jumps straight to action took place. Hey, you know, and it's part of a song. I'm trying to remember the video. Did the video even act that out? I wish it did. That'd
I
be
don't
great.
think so. I think it was all dancing in the video.
Yeah, but still,
I mean, it was. I mean, it's. I don't know. Now that I look at it, and it's just like it is what it is. When younger women are way more promiscuous than when they are like older. And it's like some of the things that you'll get over on a younger woman, you're definitely not getting over on an older woman. And that's why, like, we're bringing up entertainment figures, right?
yeah,
In entertainment, they make it seem like women are easy. But guess what? Those are the younger women.
yeah. And
Those
the
are the
funny,
younger
and
women.
and anybody who's been in the entertainment world, in whatever capacity, been around that, there's a ton of groupies crawling around.
Right.
Tons of them just throwing themselves at people.
Right.
And who's to say? I mean, like groupies throwing themselves at you. They got the right ID, right? I mean, like, what are you supposed to do? I mean, like, the idea. How close do you have to look at an ID before you accept it as real?
Right.
It's like, hey, how old are you? And she's like, oh, I'm 18, and they're showing you this ID, right? And let's be clear. Remember, for the most part, I'm about what's legal. Okay. I don't say that. I'm not saying that older guys should be intentionally going out with like 18 or 19-year-olds, but from a legal point of view, there's nothing illegal about that.
It's nothing illegal about
Yeah.
it.
I mean,
It's just like
it might get
it
people
depends.
look at you funny. I mean, like, if Raymond, if you were to show up at your kid's school with some 18-year-old girlfriend on your arm, they may look at you funny. But I mean, like, but they can't call the cops on you.
They can't call the cops on me, but I don't. I have like a certain type of moral against it, and then also like I look at I see it from both sides, right? Because like now I'm gonna say young as far as like 21 and up. I don't like dealing with like younger women, because there are certain things that happen with younger women, right? Like underage drinking. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Like
okay,
stuff like that.
okay.
Only like dealing with people who are 21 and up.
Oh, okay,
Younger,
okay. So your thing comes from a practical point of view in that it's just no fun to go out with someone who can't drink. I mean,
that
if that's what you're doing, right? If you're
if that's what you're doing, but
it's
it
limiting.
like but what I'm saying also is just like it's just a different type of woman. It's a different type of woman when you're 35 compared to when you're 25.
But
If that makes sense.
let's flip that around though. I mean,
Uh-huh.
you're talking about something that's a bit more on the, I guess, on the serious side of things. So let's say you're Jerry Lee Lewis.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you're on tour.
I'm not about to date my cousin, bro.
Well, no. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. Let's say you're Jerry, because I mean, he ended up with his cousin at some point in time. But Jerry Lee
Right.
Lewis Jerry Lee Lewis and his cousin had a very tumultuous relationship because just like all those musicians on tour, Jerry Lee Lewis got around on tour. He was not a faithful man on tour.
Right.
Okay, they say that about a lot of them. Like Elvis was also, when Elvis was
Wouldn't
on.
expect you to.
Yeah. So Jerry Lee Lewis on tour, Elvis on tour. He got a lot. They got a lot of phone numbers, panties, bras, hotel room keys thrown at them. Right.
Hmm. People coming to your hotel room.
Yeah. I mean, like if that's a situation, right? If it's going to be some crazy ass wild party, what are your instructions to the people who are picking out the attendees? Right. You've got your roadies out there saying, "Hey, you, come on, let's go." Right. What is the criteria? I mean, it's a wild party. It's not a relationship. You're not even probably even know names.
Yeah, but
Okay.
then also like I kind of feel for some of these guys, but it's like I don't, because it's like, you got to have some type of discipline. Some of these girls are in spaces where there's 21 and up and are younger.
Well, let's say this. Okay, so let's say that your criteria is going to be 21. Let's say
Hmm.
that's your criteria. Well, because you were saying that even 21-year-olds are kind of young, the young side for you. But let's say that. So what criteria do you give them? Do you say they got? I mean, because if they're 21, they can legally drink, right? No matter what
Right.
state it is, right? They can legally drink. It's just for a wild party time.
Hmm.
You're not going to know any names. I mean, it's not going to be. You don't have to probably talk to them. Okay.
Man,
Are you still saying they got to be 25 and up? Or are you still? I mean, what's your?
yeah, I mean, it like it also depends who I am and what status I'm at. Like think about like what happened to Bill Cosby. Like them women was not no 35, 40-year-old women. Those are young women that came back to haunt him later on in life.
Yeah, but you're not going to be roofing anybody.
Yeah, he was roofing them.
You're not going to. So here's the thing. You're going to throw this party.
Wow.
Okay, you're going to throw this party. Okay, it's going to be this crazy ass party. So let's jump ourselves back a few years. For some of us, a few decades. We're in
Hmm.
college. Okay, we're throwing a party. So when I was in college, we had this house. Say my second year, I was part of a group of people renting this big ass house off campus. Right, we were famous for our parties. Okay, the house is called Thurber. Okay, Thurber threw crazy at me. Like it was the nearest thing that school had to a frat house because frats were not allowed. There were no frats at that time at Santa Cruz.
Mm.
Santa Cruz hadn't allowed frats yet. So Thurber was one of the closest things you got to a frat house. Okay. And not everyone was welcome at Thurber. I mean, like, you was pick and choose. I mean, I mean, honestly, dude, if you showed up with enough booze, if you showed up with a lot of booze for everybody, you're probably getting in.
Yep.
But honestly,
That's how you get in.
but we can choose who gets in and who doesn't, right? It's our place. And I mean, put yourself in that position. It's your party. You're hosting this big thing almost every weekend, and it's you. And the guest list is up to you. What's your criteria, right? I mean, beyond like let's say, okay, of course, you're in college. We can all be immature in college and say that physical attributes are going to be part of the criteria, which they are. I mean, like any doorman knows that you're picking who comes in. It's like only good looking ones, right? You don't want a club full of unattractive ladies. It's not going to make it, and men, right? So they're choosing based on some criteria. But let's set an age criteria. At Thurber, our age criteria was 21. We had a strict 21 criteria because we've been raided by cops before.
Yes.
They've just showed up and they've broken up the party.
Mm-hmm.
They've shown up
and start
broken
checking
up the party.
IDs.
Yep. And they very rarely check IDs, but they can if they wanted to.
Yep.
Okay. So that's why we do that. 21 and over. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's got to vouch for you. If nobody knows you, well, you're presenting ID. Okay. And that's why we said it 21 and over. Okay. We had people at our parties. I mean, like we had graduate students come in, right? So yeah. I was young. Okay. So 21 would be about my age. Right. But we had attendees there in their late 30s. Okay. Guys were getting masters at Santa Cruz. And these are like full-time permanent students. They've never experienced life outside of academia. They've got 3 master's degrees.
And they come to the party.
And some of them will probably end up as professors. And they're still come to the party. Right? My TA for econ, because I was in econ, he was always there. Right? I'm surprised professors didn't show up.
I was about to say, did professors show up?
I think they never showed up at our parties, but I had one professor I did have a social relationship with.
Yeah.
We play golf. I play golf with a professor.
Yeah.
I played golf. We would have lunch and we talk business stuff. Because I was already getting into real estate in college.
I had a couple. I'm not gonna say a teacher, but definitely people who worked in the office that came to parties.
Mm. Yeah. He didn't come to party. I mean. I think because he was actually he was a CFO of a company in what would later become Silicon Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Silicon Valley wasn't as huge as it is now. It's not like there weren't multi-billion-dollar firms running up and down there at the time. But tech was a growing thing, and he was a CFO at a tech firm in Silicon Valley. And he was professor of economics at Santa Cruz. Actually, he was a professor of accounting, is what he was. That dude helped me out of a bunch of stuff. I actually owe that guy. But we never professors. But our criteria was 21 over because we did not want to get busted serving alcohol to minors. Well, not to minors, but to people who couldn't drink.
Mm-hmm.
19 is not a minor, but you can't drink.
Nope. That's the worst.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to leave in handcuffs.
And considering that one of our housemates... This dude had the master bedroom and he turned it into a grow house.
Oh, you'd have trouble.
Yeah, and they knew. The cops knew. This is UC Santa Cruz in the late 80s and early 90s. Yeah. So,
but it's that's why I'm saying I always thought to myself like that's just where I leave. That's why I just cut things off. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been older and dated younger women, and I'm just like, nah, this ain't
no. Remember, you're saying the word dated. Remember, this is not dating. This is I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about partying.
Yeah, I'm talking about an ephemeral thing. It's something that a part of this going to happen. You might see them on and off at other parties, but you're not gonna. You're not even gonna exchange phone numbers, right? It's just that thing where it's like, hey, what's up, and then you party. I mean, that's how. Remember, that's the really funny thing about some way some of these parties work out, because Raymond's too young for this. Quentin, you're the right age, right? When I was in college, you didn't have cell phones, right? And we lived in dorms, and the dorms didn't have phones in the rooms. Okay, so nobody exchanged phone numbers ever.
Oh.
Right? The most if you gave them a phone number, it was to your parents' house back. And I went to college in a dorm situation, right? Almost nobody who went to Santa Cruz came from Santa Cruz. Like in those times, you went to college somewhere else, right? So if I'm giving anybody a phone number, it's a phone number to Diamond Bar. It's like that. What use is that, right? So you only see these people at the parties or at some event. You do have a phone in the dorm, which is in the hallway, right?
Payphone, generally.
But I never gave that phone number to anybody because I'm never around. Try catching me at that number. Good luck, right?
This is going back to a simpler time, Mama.
Yeah. So that, and the funny thing is, that's how things get in these kinds of parties overseas too, right? it's a thing. They know. Okay. So you have those party friends that you only see at these things. I mean, like, the guys will exchange numbers because we can do business together. Right? Like overseas, if you're in Taipei or you live in Tokyo, you go to these parties, you'll exchange numbers with the guys or like some of the women who are business women, you'll exchange numbers with them too, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the people just there for a party and a good time, probably not. You'll see them around. You'll see them in the circuit. It's like, okay, some people just make the club circuit. You see them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's one of those, it's an ultimate out of sight, out of mind scenario. It's like, hey, what's up? And you intentionally don't exchange numbers. Right? Because you're not making any plans. You just, you don't base your plans on what anybody else is doing. You do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you don't say, hey man, whatever your name is, let's choose a random girl's name that won't get anybody in trouble. Hey Miranda, what you doing on Sunday? Oh, I'll meet you at that club. No, it's like your entire life's open. You go to whatever club you want, and whoever you happen to meet at those things, I mean, you just go with the flow. You don't plan any of it out, right?
Okay.
And they're cool with that, They're good with it. You're good with it. That's how the whole thing runs. It's funny. It's how it was in college. We didn't have anybody's numbers. We just heard, oh, we're all heading out to whatever's party tonight. And then you show up, whoever shows up, and then they'll tell you, oh, there's another party down the way at this house, right? And almost every night it ends up at Thurber. Thurber was let me count the bedrooms. I had one, two, three. It's like a 6-bedroom house. It was like a 6-bedroom house with this huge ass fireplace. It was crazy. It was a big house, and it had been for rent to students from Santa Cruz since forever. Nobody can remember when people lived in it. I can imagine how the neighbors felt. Right. But yeah, that's so yeah, so I'm talking. So if that's the thing, so if it's just, so Raymond, what would be your criteria in that situation? Okay, let's say that
Same thing.
same thing. You're still going with the older people.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And what's the rationale for that? Why?
Less problems. Less problems. The older. I'll even admit, like in my party days, the older parties didn't have no fights. We were able to just all leave at the same time, and when it was over, it was over. Wasn't nobody lingering, and it's just easier.
It was more chill and go home.
More chill, go home.
Young folks want to hang around and scrap out front and talk stuff.
Yeah, people show up looking for certain people because they know they're gonna be there, and it's just like this is gonna be it's just and like dang, it's crazy because it's like I threw a party this weekend, and then I'm thinking back to like all the parties I have thrown because it's like it I don't know, it's kind of weird because it's like growing up I was never a sociable person.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've had people in school where it's like I never heard them talk. You know what I'm saying? But when I think about all the parties I've thrown, and it's like this is not just like one state. Like I've done it in multiple states and like with multiple groups of friends. Whereas like I threw one summer we was just like on a party rampage. I would say we threw a pool party. Then after that we threw a basement party. And when we threw the basement party, I remember this is when I was DJing.
Okay.
And I think that one, like there was no drinks involved, but it was like I can't even remember how they were doing the whole. Well, I did have a doorman, but I don't know how they were doing the selection. And like a lot of people that came, I don't know where they came from, but I remember when it got so hot, my equipment burnt out, and I was like,
Dang.
"Party over." And I remember they went outside and started the party outside, and I was just
Man.
like, "This is just." Yeah, and that was the end of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man, it's easier to do with older people.
Well, I guess also part of the criteria I'm looking at, like our parties, the parties I threw in college were very similar to running what I eventually ran in the Philippines, right? Remember, I had a nightclub.
Oh, the
I
handlebar.
had a bar, a nightclub, right? And the funny thing about that place, right, is that we didn't have. I don't even know if they're here. This is gonna sound crazy. I don't know the legal drinking age over there.
There is no legal drinking age.
I think there is. I think there is a legal drinking age. There is.
Was it like 13,
I don't
16?
know. I don't know what it is. But see, the fact that I didn't know. See, okay, so the criteria for going to Handlebar was you had to be able to afford to buy drinks there. It wasn't. It's not a cheap place. Okay, I mean, it's way more expensive than. Well, you guys are Americans, so it's not expensive to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you lived over there, it's way more expensive than you think it's going to be, right? Because it's a biker bar. But I guess technically over there, that kind of a bar is going to be expensive, right? So you had to be able to last in that environment buying drinks the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nobody nurses drinks there. Okay, we pound those suckers. I mean, we drink a lot and fast, right? So that's the criteria. You have to be able to afford to be there. No matter how old you are, if you can afford to be there, yeah, you're there. We get people. I know that there were people in there that I've seen before. They're like 17. I know it. They got to be.
Yeah.
Okay, they got to be, but they can afford to be there, right? And I know there's people who are in their late 80s. Okay, who can definitely mean and they've been there since like Vietnam. They've been in the country, and they're just there. I mean, they retired there and they're forever 40, right? They're partying it up. They're getting old. They're getting older. In their minds, they're still the same age, and the girls they're with are not aging at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like hey, the Vietnam War is over. They're still hanging out with whatever age they were attracted to at the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's no growth for these people, right?
He says no growth with these people.
There is none. I mean, no. Picture that. Okay, picture you. You're independently wealthy, right? You can retire whatever age you want, and some people discover a country that they love.
Mm-hmm.
They decide I'm living here, right? So that happens to a lot of people who go to the Philippines. They get there and they just love being there. One of the reasons why a lot of the military guys love being there, like the party guys love to be there, is that there's no judgments. The age differences, there's no real judgments about it.
Yeah, you can go and get you a 17-year-old
Yeah.
and be 37.
No, you could be 50, 60, 75. And so
And
that
go
what
get a
I'm saying is,
16-year-old.
so let's say you're 37 or you're 35, right? And you're into the 18 or 17-year-olds over there, right? Which is legal age, okay, in that country. You're 35 now, and pretty soon, some point you're 40, okay? The girls you're hanging with are still 18 because the other ones have gotten older and now we're in a different stage of life. But you're still in the same stage of life. You're hanging out, you're partying, right? And it's a different set of girls, but they're still 17, 18, right? Now you're 45, they're still 17, 18. Now you're 50, they're still 70. So I've seen guys in their late 70s, 80s, still with talking about the same stuff, right? I think in some ways it's weird to look at. A lot of my American friends who will come visit will look at that and think it's creepy or sad, right? At the same time, these guys know way more about current things that young people like they're way younger mentally than some other. I mean, they're not old people. I mean, they're in 80-year-old bodies, right? But
That's actually my theory. Like my girlfriend hates to hear this because I'll be
okay,
telling
let's
her.
hear it.
Yeah, no, because I tell her all the time, like I might get to an age where I want more kids, and I might be like 50 or 60, and I don't care about going and dating a 25, 21-year-old, or even like I'm not gonna say somebody younger. You know what I'm saying? And because I feel that way, I feel like that will keep me young. I feel that keep me going.
Yeah,
It'll keep me from becoming like an old like prune, I guess,
yeah.
where it's just like
A
I don't
lot of
like to
people.
deal with anybody.
It makes sense. I mean, a lot of people who are older claim that keeps them. At the same time, other things can keep you young too.